Cześć, witam, dzień dobry, Mike in Poland. Today I'm going to discuss an additional 5 things you must do culturally in Poland if you're a Polish person or a foreigner living in Poland. One of the things you must do, especially for Christmas, is you must watch Kevin McAllister. Who's Kevin McAllister, Mike? Kevin McAllister is actually Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. Many times when I've spoken to students in the past about their holidays and what they did for Christmas, probably 99% of them will tell me they watched Home Alone for Christmas.
What else can we be forgetting?
Kevin!
Home Alone.
This is my house. I have to defend it.
People not give up the king. People not give up
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
When Poland was under communism, I don't think they had an idea about America and what America looked like. I don't think they had a vision of America. And I think for the first time, Polish people got to see the opulence of America, what we were able to provide as a country. And you could just see, if you think about Home Alone, really think about this house. There's this little kid, he's in this big mansion by himself, even by today's standards. That's a really large house Macaulay Culkin's living in. And so I think when Polish people, after communism was lifted, these were some of the first images they got to see of America. And like I said, the opulence of America. And it probably became a realization that, wow, look how much America has to offer. And look at this movie. So this is what I learned about being here in Poland, is that Polish people love Home Alone for Christmas. I don't know why, but that's my reason why I think. I think it just really was the first images that they got to see of America. So one of the things you must do if you're a Polish person or a foreigner living in Poland, you must watch Home Alone for Christmas. One of the things you must do if you're a Polish person or a foreigner living in Poland, or even a tourist, you must carry Crochet. What's Crochet, Mike? Crochet is basically the change here in Poland. It comes in several denominations. There's one grosze, 2 grosze, 5 grosze. There's 10 grosze, there's 20 grosze, there's 50 grosze. The similarities about this grosze is that they have the same color and they're actually the same in size. So 1, 2, and 5 grosze are kind of this bronze copper color. The 10, 20, 50 grosze are the silver color. So you have these small denominations of grosze, and they're all similar in size. So you wind up having like a whole bag of these grosze, and there's so many denominations, it's actually confusing. I've seen elderly people in stores, when they start out with their transactions with the cashier, they start counting out the grosze.
What the hell is this, pennies? Your penny change?
That's all I got.
But somewhere in mid-count, they just give up and they just hand over their wallet to the cashier, and they let the cashier count out the grosze for them. One of my first shopping experiences here in Poland, because I didn't have a bank account yet, and I was only carrying around zloty, when I went to go get groceries for the first time, or one of the first times, was that I had all this zloty. Zloty is the paper currency here in Poland, and then, like I said, we have grosze. And I got to the cashier with my goods. I had 2 $100 bills in zloty, and I didn't have the grosze at all. So I handed it over to the cashier. So this woman literally acted out crying. She put both her hands to the face, and she was crying, basically. She was doing this, she was crying. And she opened her cash register, and you could see the frustration on her face because she had to break a roll of grosze. Somewhere in Poland, the cashiers never have enough grosze. So the situation when I handed over the zloty was something like this.
You got change for 100?
Those are one of the things you must do in Poland, especially if you go shopping. You must carry your grosze with you at all times. Another cultural must do, if you're a Polish farmer, is you must celebrate Marjana. What is that? Marjana?
Leciały żurawie w długich, szarych sznurach. Leciały za słońcem tu na was, o wiośnie nad rzeką. Lećcie, lećcie.
Marjana is a Polish Slavic tradition that Polish people celebrate on the first day of spring. Marjana is an effigy. It is something Polish people that have been celebrating for centuries. And Marjana, if you know anything about it, in this holiday, in this tradition, Marjana is usually wrapped in cloth. It's stuffed with hay. It's usually decorated with flowers or some type of beads, floral arrangements. Marjana is usually very colorful. But the whole point about Marjana is that it basically is ushering in the end of winter and carrying into spring, and it's ensuring a good harvest for farmers for their crops. Marjana, like I said, is celebrated once a year, and the whole point of Marjana is you must burn Marjana, because again, we're talking about the death of winter, and then not only do we burn Marjana, we have to drown Marjana. So we have to make sure we ensure ourselves a good harvest for the spring, and we're able to put food on our tables here in Poland. So one of the cultural must-dos, if you're a Polish person, or especially a Polish farmer, is you must burn and drown Marjana. Another cultural must-do, especially if you're a Polish person or a foreigner trying to adapt the Polish culture, is you must pick mushrooms. Polish people love picking mushrooms. I've experienced it for the first time 3 years ago when I was just randomly walking in the forest and I saw people with baskets everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. And I didn't know what they were doing, and I was curious as to why the forest was so crowded. So what I was thinking to myself was, okay, so clearly this forest, there must be a ton of mushrooms. How difficult can it be? So I came on a weekday for my usual walk, and I said, I'm gonna try my hand at mushrooms. So I brought a plastic bag and scissors. I didn't know how to pick mushrooms. I didn't know where to look for them. So I began looking under rocks, next to trees, under twigs, and I thought it would be a lot easier than I expected. And it actually wasn't. You actually have to have a nose for mushrooms because they're very fragrant. It's kind of a skill, actually, where you have to use not only just your eyes, but your nose. Polish forests have a certain aroma, especially during mushroom season. You can smell the mushrooms in the air, believe it. And as you see, again, I'm isolated. And I'm looking for mushrooms, I'm picking mushrooms, I'm kind of distracted, and I'm just, pretty much my head is down the whole time on the ground, just trying to find mushrooms.
Fox tracks.
As I found my first mushroom, as I stood up, all of a sudden I started to see figures appear in the forest, and they had knives. And I'm not exaggerating. I probably saw 3 guys all come out at once behind trees. They just appeared, and they had knives. And for 1 second, I went into LA mode, and I said, I'm about to get killed in this forest because it's very isolated, it's very remote, and there was nobody I was going to be able to call for help.
Who you gonna call?
And then I started to realize, oh, these people are here for mushrooms too. So that's how popular mushroom picking is for Polish people. People, I think, to even take days off of work, honestly. I think people take days off of work to try to find mushrooms. So one of the things you must do as a Polish person is you must pick mushrooms. Another cultural must do, especially in Poland, is you must celebrate name day. Name day, if you don't know anything about it, I don't think we have it in the States, but maybe we do amongst a certain segment of the population. But name day is super important here in Poland, and I learned this over the past few years, is that I've heard people, when I ask them what they're doing for the weekend or what their plans are, they'll sometimes say, I'm having a party, I'm going to celebrate my name day. I'm throwing a party for my husband, his name day is this weekend. And I never heard about it. And what I started to learn about it is that it's actually more important than probably a birthday for us in the States. Name days are usually celebrated daily. There's a name day calendar. Believe me, there's a name day calendar. And I believe the significance of name day is because most Polish people are named after saints. I believe name day is something that derives from Christianity and Catholicism, and it's something Polish people celebrate, not necessarily the person, but in addition to the person, the name of the saint. Because if you know anything about Poland, the majority of this country is Catholic. So name day for me, I think, derives from Catholicism, like I said, and it's really, really important. People throw parties. People spend sometimes a lot of money on name day, and if you forget name day, they'll actually remind you of it. Hey, you didn't celebrate, you didn't wish me a happy name day. I learned this, believe me, I've learned this over the years here. People will take each other a box of chocolates just to gather in the home and have a coffee or tea. But it's something really that needs to be acknowledged here in Poland, is that you must celebrate name day. So that's it for my additional 5 Polish must-dos. Let me know what you think about my must-dos in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions about any other must-dos I might be missing out on. Until then, Mike in Poland, cześć.